What's up, Banter fam? Welcome back to the most alpha-packed crypto show on YouTube, where I stream live every day to give you guys the best content and the best DeFi strategies to help you earn yield and succeed in this crazy crypto market. Remember, I'm live every single day at 1:30 a.m. EST to give you guys the best crypto news and yield strategies to profit in the market. Today, I'll be showing you my favorite crypto research tools and strategies to help you earn yield in DeFi and maximize your yield. These tools are the tools that I personally use to profit in DeFi. It's going to be a super awesome show. Let's get straight into it. You guys are honestly in the right place today, because I think today's show is one of the most important shows that I've ever done. Some of these tools and research strategies are going to really help you guys out to succeed in this market. You know, it's all very well me giving you guys different yield farming strategies, and I think that's really helpful. But I also think it's important to peel back the layers and show you step by step how to profit in this market by utilizing these tools, because I want to be able to give you guys the tools so you can go on your own and do your own research and really succeed in this market. So that is what today's episode is about. It's a super jam-packed show, but before we get into anything, smash the like. I need everyone here right now to absolutely smash the like button if you're excited to hear my personal DeFi tools and research strategies. I think this is a really super important episode for you guys to tune into. So good morning, and let's get straight into the show. Right now, the Bitcoin price is pushing up. It's had a very, very nice rally over the last day. We've come up over 4% today, 4 or 5%. So it's really good to see some strength finally coming back in for Bitcoin. Obviously, we broke that major trend, and we kind of lost a bit of steam due to some of the Russian news, due to some of the CPI concerns, due to inflation. But we've had a nice push up today, and it's good to see that Bitcoin is maintaining nice relative strength against the rest of the market. We've actually seen Bitcoin outperform the NASDAQ by 7% this month. So we're starting to see some strength and the narrative shifting to do with Bitcoin. We still have to be careful out there. It's still choppy waters. Obviously, there is a lot to be resolved in the macro sense, but it's good to see some strength and some volume coming in and backing Bitcoin. And it's not exclusive to Bitcoin right now. We're seeing a huge pump across alts today. We're seeing double-digit gains across some of the major alts. Solana up 8.2%, Curve up 11.6%, Rune up 10.6%, Fantom 7%. So we're seeing some big gains come in across some of these altcoins, which indicates to me that, you know, maybe we're getting a little shifting of cycles here and potentially entering a new cycle, because for a while we were kind of lingering down the bottom. Bitcoin's had its breakout. The alts are following nicely, and it's really important at the moment to have a look at the dominance to see where we're tracking, because obviously Bitcoin dominance has had a big push up recently. From these lows, Bitcoin dominance has pushed up over 10%, which is a pretty crazy growth from the dominance, but that actually isn't a bad thing. We know long-term that dominance is trending downwards. I'm personally expecting to see dominance around 30 to 35% over the next year or two. So the fact that we're getting a push up in dominance is a good sign, because we need liquidity coming into Bitcoin to really kickstart the next alt cycle and really kickstart the next leg of this cycle. So it's good to see, in my opinion, that the dominance is rising and we're getting some strength in the market. But now that is out of the way, we kind of know where we sit now with the market. It's good to have that pump under our belts. I can show you the strategies that I use to identify new projects, because if we are going to get a rally in this market eventually, whether it's tomorrow or next week or in a month or in a year. When the market eventually rallies and really pushes strongly to the upside, you want to be in the best position possible to capitalize. And when the market's going down, you want the tools to be able to evaluate what are the best assets to be holding, and the opportunity cost of holding different assets. So today's video is dedicated to sharing with you guys the tools that I personally use to be able to capitalize in this market and maximize your yield, because that is what this show is all about: maximizing DeFi yield, maximizing your profits in crypto, and setting you guys up for success in this market. I want to bring all of you along on this journey with me. When I profit, I want all of you guys to be able to profit as well. We're in this journey together. So me sharing with you some of my research strategies helps us all be on the same page. And I think that's a really valuable thing as a community, that we're all able to use some of these strategies to better ourselves and better our crypto portfolio position. So the first thing I want to go through today is actually CoinGecko. Now, on face value, CoinGecko seems like a pretty basic platform. Obviously, it is one of the main price sharing websites in crypto to be able to look at some basic statistics, but it's actually a lot deeper than that, because I use CoinGecko as kind of a basis to get some initial statistics to go off and dig a little bit deeper. So I want to start with CoinGecko and show you some of the things that I personally do on CoinGecko to form a nice basis for my portfolio. And then from that, I'll show you the strategies I use to be able to dig a little bit deeper into the stats that CoinGecko gives us. Now, I've talked about this a little bit before, but one of my absolute favorite strategies, and one I have to preach about time and time again because it's so important, is watchlist building. And I think that watchlist building is one of the most important strategies in crypto to be able to better your position in this market. So it's pretty simple. What I would recommend is coming over here and you can look at all your portfolios on CoinGecko. You'll need a CoinGecko account, and what you're able to do is click on My Portfolio and create different portfolios. If you hit the Create Portfolio button on CoinGecko, you can start a new portfolio, let's say sample portfolio, and you can create one to be able to watch different projects. Now, the benefit of creating different portfolios in CoinGecko is that you're able to differentiate between different sectors. So what I would recommend is breaking up your CoinGecko watchlist into different categories. For example, you could have a category for gaming, you could have a category for layer ones, you could have an ecosystem category for, say, Fantom, AVAX, Solana, and you can break it down so you can watch trends across the market and get a better idea of how the market is tracking. Because watch list building is super, super important, because we're able to watch which trends are emerging in the market. Having these watch lists ready to go on your phone, on your computer, and having them accessible means that at all times you can see which trends are taking over the market. For example, today we've gotten a massive pump. So we need to be able to work out which narratives going forward are looking like the strongest. So I created, for example, a gaming portfolio on CoinGecko. And what my gaming watch list has is gaming projects that I personally like to look at. And you can see the returns in this sector over the last couple days is pretty substantial. So over the last day, a lot of these projects are up 20% or so. So what you can do is you can identify the strong narratives through having your own watch list set up. For example, we see gaming is up double digits today. If we go and we look at CoinGecko and compare it to some of the other projects, Bitcoin's only up 4% today, Solana 8%. So we can see that gaming is actually outpacing the market. So that's a potential indicator that if we do get a major push to the upside, gaming will be one of the strongest categories. And you can do this for multiple different sectors as well. You can do this for Fantom. Fantom over the last day has seen some really strong growth. Scream 24%, Beethoven 16%, Spooky 15%. These projects are actually pumping harder than the market. And that indicates to me that if we get a push up from this market, that the Fantom projects could outperform the market. It's super simple, but what having these watch lists enables you to do is keep track and keep tabs on the developments of the market, and you can identify the strongest narratives in the market. Adversely, if the market's going down, you can also identify, wow, Popsicle Finance is down 35% this week. Maybe that's a good buying opportunity. You could see Spirit Swap down 27%, for example. Maybe that's a good buying opportunity. By having these watch lists set up, you can see which projects are able to scoop dips, because we don't want to be buying pumps. We want to be buying dips in this market. So having your watch list sets up enables you to capitalize on that. But CoinGecko goes so much deeper than just watch lists. You can actually get some pretty in-depth statistics that can help you make better decisions about the market. And one statistic that I think is really underrated on CoinGecko and not a lot of people pay attention to are fully diluted valuations. Now, fully diluted valuations give us an idea of the emission schedule of a project. For example, the Fantom market cap is $5 billion. The fully diluted valuation is $6.2 billion. So by looking at this statistic, we can see that most of the circulating tokens of Fantom are already in the market, which means the market isn't being diluted with new tokens, which can potentially push the price down. So by looking at fully diluted valuation instead of market caps, we can get a better idea for what projects actually have better tokenomics, and it helps us get a nice basis to see what projects are undervalued. And I actually discovered something really shocking today on CoinGecko using this that I'm going to review with you guys right now. And that is the Fantom versus AVAX fully diluted. So if you go and you can compare the Fantom, if you go and compare the Fantom market cap to the AVAX market cap, they're around a 4x apart. So the Fantom market cap is around 4.1x from AVAX. Okay, that seems about fair, right? Because, you know, AVAX has some pretty good tech. It's got more gaming than Fantom. A 4x kind of makes sense in a lot of ways. However, if we go and we look at the fully diluted, we can see that AVAX is actually a 10x from Fantom. AVAX's fully diluted is 60 billion and Fantom's fully diluted is 6 billion. So we can see that AVAX is actually valued 10 times higher than Fantom. And I said here, is AVAX a 10 times better project? No. I truly believe that Fantom is a lot closer to AVAX than a 10x. So potentially by comparing different market cap, fully diluted valuations, we can get a better idea of which projects are undervalued. And that just goes to show the power of CoinGecko, simple statistics we can use to compare against other projects to work out which projects are undervalued. I want to give you guys a more in-depth example of this so you can actually apply this to your own learning, because when you guys go out and research projects, I want you to be able to use these statistics as well to help you make better investment decisions. So let's take a token like Beethoven X. Beethoven X, and I'm picking a random token for this example right now. It's a DEX on Fantom, and it has some interesting tokenomics behind it. So what you can do when identifying a new project, and this works particularly well for DEXs and farming tokens, is come into CoinGecko, look at the fully diluted valuation, look at that compared to the market cap to see how big the discrepancy is between circulating and max supply. Now, obviously, this doesn't give us all the details right now. All we have are statistics. We can't see where this dilution is coming from, whether it's coming from emissions through farming rewards, whether it's coming through staking, through validator nodes. We don't actually know where these emissions are coming and how quickly they're coming, because just looking at emissions and saying, oh, the fully diluted is 4 times the market cap, it's not a good project, that's wrong, because potentially the schedule might be over 20 years. There's no way to tell. So what I like to do is come into CoinGecko, get the base statistic, and then go and look at the white paper. It's really important when you're identifying and researching a project to look into the white papers, because the white papers are going to tell us more information about how projects plan to use emissions. So for example, on Beethoven X, we can see the diluted valuation's 200 million, but if we go into the white paper and look at the emission schedule under tokenomics, we can see the schedule is actually over 1,410 days, and we can see how quickly the emissions, so the amount of tokens that are being pushed onto the market, is happening and occurring. So it's important to cross-reference your research with white papers to get a more holistic understanding, because we can't just use CoinGecko as a basis for data. We have to be able to dig a little bit deeper. And that is the next step I want you guys to start taking. Not just going into CoinGecko, looking at a market cap and going, oh, that's a good buy, but actually going a little bit deeper into projects, looking at their white papers, looking through the Discords, getting some extra resources together to make more informed investment decisions. And I think that is the big difference which separates novice traders from advanced traders. Novice traders often come in and they look at the basic metrics, and that is totally fine, and you can get a lot of success through that. However, if you want to go a step further and significantly increase your odds of success, you need to be going through these white papers, asking questions in the Discord, and getting a little more active with your research. So that would be one of my biggest tips. Obviously, we have to establish then what is a good project, and two of the ways of identifying a project is through the community and through the team. These are probably the two most important aspects of project identification when I'm working out what investment I like. So if I'm trying to go through a project and work out whether it's a good buy or not, I need to tick off these two boxes. I need to tick off whether it has a strong community, because we know how community-driven crypto is, and I also need to tick off whether it has a strong team. Now, for the community, there is one tool which I really like, and I'm going to reveal with you guys now, that can help you identify where the strongest communities are. And that tool is LunaCrush. I really like LunaCrush as a platform to be able to go in and look at the social data. So if you don't know what LunaCrush is, it's pretty much an optimizer which takes all the data from different social platforms like Twitter, like YouTube, and it combines it in one place to develop scores which rate projects based on their social supremacy. So it ranks projects based on how talked about they are, how engaged with they are on Twitter. And this helps me determine what the strongest narratives are, because now we have tangible data that's backing a narrative. So this is how I like to use LunaCrush. I like to go into the markets and have a look at the social volume of projects, see which projects are the most talked about. Now, obviously, it makes sense for Bitcoin, Ethereum, SHIB, some of these popular projects to have high social volume, and that makes sense. But where the real value is coming into the Discover tab over here and working out which projects are actually trending, because you're going to see through trending projects things that happen before the market. So if a project's trending on social media and you identify that on LunaCrush, you can see ahead of the pack what's actually being talked about, because there's reasons why things are talked about. So let's say Fantom's trending on LunaCrush. You can go, why is it trending? And that kind of gives you a nice starting point to be able to go in and research what's happening, because there might be big events or there might be a real publicity kind of stir happening with a project that you might want to be aware of. Now, LunaCrush actually is a paid service for some of these, or maybe you just need to sign up for some of these key metrics like the Galaxy score and the alt rank. But LunaCrush actually does something, and every single day on their Twitter, they post the rankings by Galaxy score. And a Galaxy score is an algorithm that's kind of used to determine how talked about a project is. So I really like following their Twitter and looking every single day at what the top projects are from Galaxy score. We saw FEG, Coty, Celsius, Quant be some of the most talked about projects yesterday. And every day on their Twitter, they're posting alt ranks and Galaxy scores. And they've got this coin of a day thing, which they post on their Twitter, which I think is really useful. So LunaCrush is one of those tools that I would not be sleeping on, because it seriously gives us some intelligence into the social data of projects, which helps make better decisions. Every project, for example, Fantom, you can come in, you can look at it, you can see its alt rank, you can see how it's tracked over time for social volume and social engagement, which I think is really helpful, because it helps us kind of position projects not only in terms of price, but in terms of social data and relevance. So LunaCrush is another one of those projects that I would highly consider. And obviously, in addition to how important a project is socially, you want to be looking into the team, because even if there's a great community, you still need a strong team driving a certain project. There's no use having a strong community and having an incompetent team. You want to make sure the team is valid. So a way I would do this is by getting into the Discord, interacting with the team, asking them difficult questions, and also going through and looking, are they docs? So are they publicly identified? Have they worked on previous projects? Have they been involved with other successful projects, etc., to kind of get a better idea of a project? So those two factors, community and team, are two of the most important factors in crypto. Now, I have one tool that I'm about to show you, which has pretty much revolutionized the way I view DeFi, and this is one of my favorite tools. So you guys, if you're excited for this tool, I need you to all smash the like button. This is some serious alpha that I'm about to drop. Smash the like button for the alpha I am about to give you. And that alpha is called CoinDix. Now, this is not a very popular website, and I don't hear many people talking about CoinDix, but honestly, it is one of the best websites for DeFi. And this is pretty much what CoinDix is. It takes all the yields from all different yield protocols across multiple chains, and it creates an index, and it indexes based on yield. So you can come in and you can look up any token or any chain and sort to find the best yield opportunities. Obviously, it's really hard to keep on track of yield in DeFi because it's constantly changing, constantly evolving with liquidity, with rates, with incentives. So it can be hard sometimes to keep on top of some of these rates. But what CoinDix does is it allows us to stay on top of the rates by every single day. You can come in and look to see what the best rates are on different protocols. I'm going to run you through exactly how I do this. So let's take the Fantom ecosystem, for example. You can click on whatever chain you want to find the best yields for. You can click on Fantom and you can come in and you can sort by APY. So click on the chain, the desired chain you want to look at, click on APY, and what this will do is it will sort by the annual percentage yield, which will enable you to see the best yield opportunities on Fantom, and it will automatically sort it for you. No more digging through Twitter, no more kind of going manually onto every single website and updating the data. You can simply come onto one place which shows you all the yield right here and right there. And we can, as we can see through the Fantom yield, we can see Proto 826%, Grim Fantom 497%, Fantom Panic 468%, etc. But you might not want to look by ecosystem, you want to look by token. So for example, you might want to look at the Fantom token itself. Where can I earn yield on Fantom? So you can search FTM, and you can get all the pools that just involve Fantom. If you like Beethoven X and you want to farm BEETS because you've got BEETS, you can search BEETS. And you can look through and see all the pools where BEETS is involved in, and all the pools are listed here. Now, there is one downside to this platform, and there's one real negative, which I'm sure the team is working on, but it has to be noted, and that is that the yields don't update every single day. There is sometimes a little bit of a lag, and they still have some errors with their processing where some strategies won't show up. For example, I wanted to search B Luna yields today, and they didn't have some of the yield strategies from platforms that I like to use. So not all strategies are listed on here. So you have to note that not everything is listed. It'd be very hard for a project like CoinDix to be able to list every single project in DeFi because every day the yields are changing so quickly. However, it is a good starting point, and it's a good basis for sorting yield, because even though it's not perfect, it still has 90% of projects, and it still updates relatively quickly. So as long as you're keeping an eye on whether the yields are accurate, obviously cross-check the yields off CoinDix with the websites individually. It's going to serve as a great tool for you guys to be able to look more into projects and look more into where the best yield is. So this is a slept-on tool in DeFi. I'm giving you guys the alpha today. So for all of you here that are in the show today, you are getting a little bit of exclusive alpha here and something that's not very known by the market. So I think that's awesome that I'm able to share this awesome tool with you guys. Now, just to end kind of this segment, I want to go through one strategy which I really like to do, and something that was covered on the Banter website yesterday. So I've talked about how to identify projects using CoinGecko. I've talked about LunaCrush social data. I've talked about yield optimization on CoinDix. But there's one more thing that I want to reveal with you guys, and that is taking advantage of the smart money. So there was an article posted on Crypto Banter yesterday, and that says following the smart money is one of the best ways to tap into success and set yourself up for success in crypto. And by following the smart money, what they're alluding to here is looking through the portfolios of different major funds in crypto and seeing what they actually own. And there's two tools which you can use to do this. Messari and Dove Metrics. And these are the two websites that allow you to manually go through and look at different funds' portfolios. Because in crypto, obviously, as a retail investor, it can be quite overwhelming. So it's good to be able to go in and look at what the smart money is accumulating to get an edge on the rest of the pack and get an advantage over other people in the crypto space. Because if you're looking at what the top investors are investing in, that enables you to be able to make more informed decisions based on what some of the smartest minds in the space are buying. And so I told you there was two platforms to do this, the first of which is Messari. Messari, you can go onto the website and you can click on the screener tab. And what the screener tab enables you to do is look through some of the fund's biggest holdings. For example, we can look at Messari's fund themselves, see which tokens they own, see how they've performed. You can go in and look at A116, you can look at what protocols they own, and this enables you to get a much better idea of what protocols are popular in the eyes of the funds. And Messari is a paid service, so to get the full list of funds, you will need to pay. However, Crypto Banter did a nice article which went through yesterday some of the biggest holdings from some of the biggest portfolios. So go check out this article. It is called Following the Smart Money, and you can go through and look at what some of the biggest funds are owning. So that is another cool tool to take advantage of, and that's done through Messari. And the other one I wanted to talk about, which is the last and probably one of the most important places where you can view different funds' portfolio holdings, is Dove Metrics. And what Dove Metrics is, to summarize, is it's pretty much a database which keeps tabs and keeps track of where some of the biggest investors in crypto are investing their capital. You can see live, so we get a live track of how all of these different crypto investors are allocating their funds. So we can see that Protocol Labs put $1.1 million into Function Land. We can see $60 million was put into BCB Group, for example. And if you go through here, you can see where some of the biggest funds are allocating in live time. So this is some pretty big alpha for you guys right now, because Dove Metrics is a place where you can come in and you can view where these big players, where the smart money is allocating capital. So Messari is great, but obviously it is a paid tool to get the full functionality. Dove Metrics is free, and that's one of the benefits of this website. It's obviously not as in depth, but what it does allow us to do is get a nice overview of where funds are flowing. And this is a live flow of funds. So you get to see where investors are putting in funds live. It doesn't capture every investor. It just captures which fundraising rounds have been databased. So it's not every investment, obviously. It's fundraising rounds, but it still gives us a great look into where money is being allocated. But if you scroll down on Dove Metrics, you can look and you can search by individual fund portfolios. So you don't need to necessarily always be keeping tabs on this, because I know that can be overwhelming. You can come down here into the active fund portfolios and search by fund. So up here, there's a search bar. You can search by fund, and you can look at, for example, I'm going to search up 3 Arrows Capital, and you can click on their fund and you can see which companies their portfolio contains. So we can see they have Switch.io, Volmex, KeeperDAO, Mina Protocol, Balancer, Polkadot, etc. And you can see some of their records. If you click link records, you can see what projects they're linked to get an idea of where the smart money is buying. So obviously, Dove Metrics is one of the most powerful crypto tools in crypto for this reason, because you can go through and look at where the big funds are allocating funds. So this is a website I'd highly recommend checking out. Once again, you can look at the live fundraising rounds, and you can also come down and look into where fund portfolios are allocating capital. One downside to this is that it doesn't necessarily show you the percentage allocation. So they could make a small allocation into a project, but it would still show up in tandem with the other projects. So that is one downside. We don't see the exact amounts always if we go through this fund portfolio tab, but it's still a great indicator, because if you see a project that's owned by one of your favorite funds, like 3 Arrows Capital, and you see they're buying a project you're not aware of, maybe that's something that can give you a basis point to go and look more into that project from. So if you see they're invested in Polkadot and you don't know what that is, for example, you can go in and you can do some research on Polkadot to see whether it's a project you like. So getting the alpha through these funds is another big way to make money in crypto. Messari and Dove Metrics are the best way to do that. These are some of the tools that I can give you guys today to be able to maximize your yield and maximize your profits in crypto. I've covered some pretty alpha pack strategies today, so maybe if you even have time, rewatching this video could be a good idea, because there is some pretty important strategies which I use every single day that I make part of my daily routine. I wake up, I check DeFi Llama, I check CoinGecko, I check the funds. I go through and I do this every day as part of my routine, because what that enables me to do is constantly stay up to date with the market. So consistency is key with these strategies. Make sure you're consistent with whichever strategies you implement. I know it's overwhelming to have all these data tools at once, so maybe just pick 1 or 2 strategies from today's video and focus on implementing them over the next couple of weeks. Maybe you create your CoinGecko watch list and you look at LunaCrush every day and you stick to those 2 just to get into the habit of being able to go in and research through projects in your own way, which I think is super important. But thank you guys so much for tuning into today's show. I think it was an absolutely alpha pack show. I gave you guys some of my favorite personal tools and DeFi research strategies to help you earn yield in crypto. I'm live every single day at 1:30 a.m. EST to give you guys the best DeFi and crypto alpha in the space. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.